Friends, today I want to talk to you about a simple but life-changing principle, leaving everything in God's hands. So often we carry burdens that are far too heavy for us. We try to control situations, people, and outcomes, but the truth is, life is bigger than we are. There's a peace that comes only when we stop trying to do it all ourselves and place our trust where it truly belongs. Imagine a life where you wake up each day not burdened by worry, not anxious about tomorrow, but confident that every step you take is guided. That life is possible when we surrender our fears, doubts, and plans to God. Trust doesn't mean we stop taking action. It means we act with the understanding that God is in control of the results. There will be times when it feels like everything is falling apart. Financial struggles, broken relationships, health challenges. It is in those moments that your faith is tested, and it is also in those moments that God's presence becomes most powerful. He sees the big picture when we only see pieces. When we hand our struggles over to Him, we allow divine wisdom to direct our paths. Prayer is the bridge to that trust. It is the act of aligning our hearts with God's will, of saying, Lord, I may not understand, but I believe you are working all things for my good. Through prayer, we cultivate patience, humility, and hope. We learn that life is not about forcing outcomes, but about walking faithfully, step by step, trusting God to lead. Leaving everything in God's hands also brings freedom. Freedom from worry, fear, and the pressure of carrying the world alone. When we trust Him, we discover that our lives are not a series of accidents, but a journey guided by a loving Creator who wants the best for us. And even when circumstances seem impossible, His timing is perfect, His provision is sufficient, and His love is constant. Surrendering control is one of the most difficult yet transformative acts a person can practice in life. From a young age, we are taught to plan, to prepare, to strive for control over our circumstances. We make schedules, set goals, anticipate challenges, and do our best to manage every aspect of our lives. There is nothing wrong with preparation or ambition, but there is a profound difference between wisely managing our responsibilities and trying to control the uncontrollable. Life has a way of reminding us that no matter how meticulous our plans, unexpected events can disrupt them. Health issues may appear suddenly, relationships may falter, opportunities may vanish, or financial security may be shaken. These situations reveal the truth that ultimate control does not rest in our hands. It is in recognizing this reality that surrendering control becomes necessary for true peace and spiritual growth. Surrendering control does not mean giving up effort or responsibility. It does not mean passivity or ignoring our duties. On the contrary, it is a deliberate act of trust and acknowledgement that there is a higher power orchestrating events in ways that surpass our understanding. When we surrender, we are not abandoning our lives. We are aligning ourselves with the wisdom and guidance of the One who sees the whole picture. There is freedom in surrender. Freedom from the anxiety that comes with trying to micromanage outcomes, freedom from the fear of uncertainty, and freedom from the constant pressure to make everything perfect. When we let go of control, we allow life to unfold with a rhythm that is both natural and divinely guided. Our perspective changes as we begin to see that every obstacle, every delay, and every challenge may have a purpose beyond our comprehension. Surrendering control also teaches humility. It reminds us that we are not the center of the universe and that our understanding is limited. It challenges pride, impatience, and the illusion that we can force every outcome according to our desires. Humility does not diminish our value. Rather, it opens the door to wisdom, growth, and deeper trust. Learning to surrender is a journey, not a single event. It begins with small steps, choosing to release minor anxieties, trusting God in small decisions, and practicing patience when life does not go as planned. Over time, these small acts build a foundation of faith that equips us to surrender even the most significant aspects of our lives. The act of surrender is closely tied to prayer and reflection. When we pray, we acknowledge our limitations and express our dependence on a higher power. Prayer is not only a request for help, but also an expression of trust and surrender. It is a dialogue in which we can place our fears, uncertainties, and desires before God, knowing that they are held with perfect understanding and love. Surrendering control also impacts our relationships. When we try to control others, expecting them to behave, respond, or act according to our plans, we create tension, disappointment, and frustration. Letting go of control in relationships allows us to respect others' free will and trust that God can work through them in ways we may not anticipate. It fosters patience, empathy, and understanding, creating a space for authentic connection rather than manipulation. In addition, surrendering control shapes how we face adversity. Life will always present challenges that test our resilience, patience, and faith. When we cling to control, these challenges often become sources of anger, fear, and despair. When we surrender control, however, we approach difficulties with a sense of calm, knowing that while we may not direct the outcome, we can still navigate the process with integrity, courage, and trust. Another vital aspect of surrender is accepting that not all questions will have immediate answers. Humans naturally crave understanding and certainty, yet the truth is that some situations are beyond our comprehension. Surrendering control means embracing mystery, holding our faith steady, even when clarity is delayed, and trusting that everything unfolds according to a greater design. This practice fosters resilience, equipping us to endure uncertainty without being overwhelmed. The benefits of surrendering control are profound and multifaceted. Emotionally, it reduces stress, anxiety, and the burden of unrealistic expectations. Spiritually, it deepens faith, strengthens trust, and cultivates a closer connection with God. Mentally, it promotes focus on what we can influence rather than obsessing over what we cannot. Physically, surrendering control can even improve health, as chronic stress and worry often take a toll on the body. Ultimately, surrendering control is about living in alignment with the truth that we are part of a larger story, one that is guided by wisdom, love, and purpose. It is about trading the illusion of total control for the reality of peace, guidance, and divine care. It is about walking forward with courage, knowing that even when our plans fail, we are held in the hands of one who never fails. In a world that constantly pressures us to manage, achieve, and dominate every outcome, choosing to surrender is countercultural. It requires courage to let go of the need to dictate life's course and faith to trust in unseen providence. Yet, those who embrace surrender discover a joy, peace, and security that cannot be found through self-reliance alone. It is a daily practice, a choice repeated with each decision, each worry, each hope, and each disappointment. Of time, surrendering control transforms not only our experience of life, but also our character, shaping us into individuals marked by patience, wisdom, and unwavering trust. Surrendering control does not mean life will be free from hardship, but it ensures that we face hardships with confidence, resilience, and hope. It is a recognition that while we may not govern the storms, we can navigate them with faith, courage, and peace. Surrendering control invites us into a partnership with the divine, where our efforts meet God's guidance, our choices meet His wisdom, and our hearts find rest in His providence. It is in this surrender that we discover true freedom, the kind of freedom that carries us through uncertainty, strengthens us in trials, and anchors us in the unshakable reality of God's love and sovereignty. Trusting His timing is one of the most powerful acts of faith we can practice, yet it is often one of the hardest to embrace. In life, we are conditioned to want immediate results, to measure success by speed, and to become impatient when things do not happen according to our expectations. We create timelines, set deadlines, and imagine how our lives should unfold. When our plans are delayed or disrupted, we feel frustrated, anxious, or even hopeless. Yet life's deepest lessons and most meaningful blessings often arrive not when we demand them, but when the timing is perfect. Trusting His timing requires patience, humility, and faith that there is a plan far greater than our own. It is a recognition that while we may see only fragments of life, God sees the entire picture. What may appear as delay, setback, or even failure is often preparation, refinement, or redirection. Trusting His timing means believing that no circumstance is wasted, no waiting is meaningless, and no delay is accidental. Every moment of waiting carries a purpose, whether it is to teach patience, build character, or prepare us for something greater than we could imagine. Learning to trust timing is a process of surrendering our expectations and opening ourselves to possibilities beyond our vision. It is about moving forward with faith, even when the path is unclear, and believing that what is meant for us will arrive exactly when it should. Often, we are tempted to take matters into our own hands, forcing decisions, rushing opportunities, or manipulating situations to align with our timeline. While we may see short-term success, acting outside of God's timing can lead to complications, disappointment, and missed blessings. Trusting His timing calls us to patience, teaching us to wait without anxiety, to act with discernment, and to allow life to unfold in a rhythm that is both natural and divine. This trust is closely connected to hope. When we understand that everything happens at the right moment, we are able to maintain hope in difficult circumstances. We do not despair when doors remain closed, nor do we panic when challenges persist. Instead, we find peace in knowing that God's timing is perfect and that the right outcomes will manifest at the right moment. Trusting timing also cultivates resilience. Life rarely goes according to plan. There are setbacks, detours, and unexpected turns. Those who rely on their own understanding may become discouraged or frustrated when faced with delay. Those who trust in divine timing, however, learn to navigate